Welcome to the meeting. Just getting set up here. Have prepared it very much in advance, but still, when the time comes, freak out a bit. But thank you for joining us for our meeting. I'm here with Carol again tonight, just like last month. And this
Hi.
week, yep. Hi. This month we're going to show harvesting sweet potatoes, which we did in Carol's yard here. So I hope you enjoy that. First of all, I will go through our usual start notes and up and coming events. So here we go on this. Okay, so what we've got first of all is me talking about the up-and-coming events, then the harvesting of the potatoes, and because this is a live stream, we do want your questions, we do want to chat, we do want you to say hello so that we know who's watching, that you can hear us all right. Especially that you can hear us all right, because we're doing it without any foldback here, so we don't know whether we sound all right at all. So if you can say hello, yes, we can hear you fine, then that would be very much appreciated by us. Not just so that we know that you're watching, but so that we know that you're hearing as well. So do say hello, and we're sounding great. Now, up-and-coming events, Biodynamics up on the hill, up in the tablelands, doing an event. They've got one coming up on the 30th of August, 9:45 a.m. And that is for their cattle and arboriculture in the wet tropics, with Carmen and Trevor Henning-White. So there's not many events going on at the moment, so it's fantastic that Biodynamics is still putting events on. So if you want to go up the hill and contact them and do that, it's a great group to work with, so highly recommended what they're doing up at the tablelands there. And another thing I wanted to mention coming up tonight at 8:30 is the second part of Fight for Planet A. Now, I wanted to mention this in particular because I saw a preview of it on the news this morning on ABC, and they're going to be talking about bowling clubs where the members have all invested, put in money to put solar panels on the roof, and basically become a cooperative to owning the solar panels. I don't know too much about it, but I think it's a fabulous thing when locals get together to make local solutions where one person cannot do it alone. And I think that's the important thing about permaculture, is that we're not about um, self-sustaining. We're about community sustaining. So it is those things that we can do as a community to sustain the community that are important. So people love to talk about self-sustainability, but what's really important is community sustainability, because not everyone in the community can self-sustain due to age, disability,
lack of resources,
stupidity, laziness, whatever it is. But these are people that are in our community, so when we look at community solutions, we help create a better community. So do check out Fight for Planet A. I don't like that he's got balloons there in the promo and in the documentary, and he's carrying balloons around. Every time I see balloons, I say, "Yep, turtles are going to swallow those." So good on you, mate. You should see me at birthday parties. Yeah, I crack people up. But trying to get a voice across, I guess. But do check it out. Fight for Planet A. And do get on the website and check out our webpage. Let us know what you think of it. Nikki's been doing a great job of getting a gardening section up there as well as a recipe section. And if you do want to contribute yourself, then you can put a recipe up there. Let us know. You can email us at info@permaculturecairns.org.au. And let us know that you can contribute a recipe or gardening tips, and we can get that on the website as well. It is a community group, and it is the community that builds this, so if you can contribute, it's muchly appreciated. Future monthly meetings, same as last month, that we still have the same ruling applying, that we can't have indoor meetings with spacing less than 4 square metres per person, which makes indoor meetings for us very difficult, as well as that the Endeavour Foundation, while they have started going back to business with their clientele, and just last week they've gone back, and they're still finding their feet. They're still finding how they're working with the COVID restrictions and with the cleaning, and so we can't get in there yet, working with them as best we can. I've just been on the phone to them now and talking about how we go in the future, and they're keen to get us back there when they can. They're still finding their feet, so we will let you know when we can actually meet in person, and that will be a fun thing. And speaking of meeting in person, we did meet in person with our August meetup, which was fantastic. We had a little get together in the park at the start of the month. We had probably about 8 people turn up all together. Saw a lot of faces that we hadn't seen before. 10 people, Carol's saying. So it was great to get all these people together and share the experiences that we're having. And thank you everyone who did come. We did appreciate it. Okay, back to us again. And for this month's meeting, Carol and I are have been harvesting her sweet potatoes. So for me, it was an absolute pleasure to actually get into her garden and learn how to harvest sweet potatoes, and that's what this video is about. So I'm going to bring it up for you now and enjoy seeing how we harvested her sweet potatoes. Hope you enjoy this. Now, you've been telling me for the last couple of weeks that
So, now you've been telling me for the last couple of weeks that you're ready to dig these up.
Yep.
But how do you know you're ready to dig them up? All I see is green leaves. I see no hint that there's nice big tubers there.
So it's flower? When they flower, it's definitely ready.
Oh, so as soon as they flower,
Yes.
you should be digging them up.
Really, you can start before then. But you need to get in there and look for the bumps.
Right, so that's the other question I have. You got the pitchfork here. How do you dig them out with a pitchfork without splitting the tubers in half?
Well, the idea is to water it well the day before you go and then pull the vines up. Don't use pitchfork until later.
Alright, so are we going to pull out all the green leaves?
Yep.
We're going to do that now. So these ones here, you reckon rats or beetles have got to? Now they've just come straight out.
That looks like beetle.
The soil is so nice and soft that they pull out very easily, and these are a couple of babies here. So, oops, dropped one.
Yeah, I gave it a good water yesterday.
So these can go back in somewhere and
Yep.
give them hope. Put them down there. And look at all that we've uncovered already. So we're pulling all these out because you are going to do something else with this garden.
Yes.
But if you were going to keep it as sweet potatoes, you wouldn't be going this harshly, would you?
Oh, yes.
Yep, you'd be doing the same.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Might need a bit more compost or something like that, so it's better to start fresh.
Well, yeah, so my question before about whether you use a pitchfork to dig them up, well, here they are.
You can see
So-
them, you may not need to, quite often they'll break off though.
So you just dig them up. Pick
If
them up,
if they come
basically.
out easy, yeah. But
Yeah.
if you quite often, these ones that are going straight in, they might break off.
So
See, there's another one.
two lovely ones right there. Beautiful sizes. Yeah, well, I'm inspired to dig mine up now because, as you say, if you get flowers, you've got
Yeah.
them.
If
Now-
they take between 3 and 5 months, you can start, I don't know what they call it, bandicooting, digging around and
Yep.
find some lumps. You should get a small full.
Now I'm finding here over where I am, they're just rotten, chewed,
Yep.
ripping out.
Yep.
There's a nice little one.
Yes.
Nice
Yeah,
little one
there
there.
was some really big ones in here, but they'd been chomped by rats. So.
Here's another nice one. That's good. But a lot of the others that I'm finding, yeah,
On that end there,
have been chomped by rats.
when I started. But I probably should have harvested them a couple of months ago.
They are so easy to pull out though. That
Well, they've really done a lot of this themselves. And there was bananas here a few years back, so maybe they loosened them. It's never been walked on.
Look at the nice pile that we're getting. I'm going to be guessing that's at least 5, more meals than that, but if you had even a big house, that's quite a few meals right there.
You'd probably find that there's that many again.
If you dig down, you will find more. That one's not worth keeping. That's frying the rotten ones over here. But, oh, so you've just dug down a little and...
Yeah. Oh, there's it's right on the edge here.
One, you found a few. Oops, I've just pulled the head off this one.
I think there'll be plenty coming up in here.
Yes, look at the little ones hiding just below the surface. Now the deeper ones have a nice pink.
Yes. Maybe there is 2 varieties.
Oh.
Sort of looking like that. One's golden, one's red.
Oh, look at this big boy.
Oh.
Oh, and you forked one right in the middle. That's what happens with the fork, but
Yeah. Oh look, there's one right here.
right there. But how lovely is this? Especially when you've never dug up sweet potatoes before. It's so easy to do that here I am holding a camera, doing it one-handed. Look at what I can do one-handed, just dig up sweet potatoes. So there you go. The tip is, as soon as they're growing flowers, you can start searching around, and you can just push the leaves back and see what mounds you see underneath. Or if you want to fertilise the whole area, just rip all the leaves out and leave tubers in the ground, and they've got roots in the ground, of course, and so it's going to grow back again. Another 5 or 6 months, you'll have another lot. And here we go.
Yeah, where we've already done.
I think we're finished, and yeah,
We've done on the
another
lower,
one.
the lower level.
You could just keep going, couldn't you?
I'll leave it sit for a while.
But it seems all the big ones are on top, aren't they?
Yes, these are the small ones. I run them from outside. And they've only probably come up from when we did the last one. Because I don't remember planting them again.
And here I go, just going a bit further over here.
Yeah, well, I want to clean all that up.
Oh, we're going to have to take all this out.
Up to the tree. Because that's a weed, that'll just invade.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, just uncovered a little bit here, and you see sweet potatoes. just
They could be there too.
just sitting right here. Just happily sitting here. There they are. All the little wigglies in here as well. Lots of action. Lots of happy microbes.
Yes.
Yeah, but there you go. This was an empty compost bin, and now is getting near the top. can take a bit more, but we've still got more to pull out on the garden over there. So it's gonna not see the light of day, otherwise this will just keep growing. Yeah, it's all gonna compost down and eventually go on another garden. Look at that for a pile of potatoes. Sweet potatoes galore. All from, we say 2 square metres?
Yay.
2 square metres. Haven't been harvested for a year. Not a bad crop. Telling me for the last couple of weeks that you're ready to dig these up.
Yeah, so there you go. That's Carol and I harvesting some sweet potatoes, and Carol took her share, and then I took the rest home, and there you are. I gave them a wash in the sink, and you can see there what a haul that is. All from 2 square metres. So now I've got sweet potato to last me to who knows how long. Though the way Jasper eats it, it'll be gone pretty quick. But yeah, and a lovely exercise in understanding how to harvest the sweet potato. And Jessica has given us a message saying, thanks for the flower tip. The rats got in and ate our gorgeous crop before we knew they were ready. And you see in Carol's there that the rats had got in and eaten a few. How do you deal with rats?
Well, I have bananas too, and pawpaws, so instead of just eating all of one crop, they'll eat a bit of everything. And they get into the worm farm too if you don't close it up, and the compost bins.
Indeed. So you got to deal with the rats. Give them a variety of crops. There you go. There's a solution. Just as long as they respect you and let you harvest some. And you can see that these rats have let us harvest quite a few. So live and let live in that case.
Yeah.
And,
Share.
yeah, share. And it's funny, while we've been sitting here in the back garden, just as the sun's been setting, we watched a couple of rats jump out and run just along here next to us, climb through the trees and run out, and we think they're going to find the worm farm.
Yes.
That's what we're suspecting. Yeah, live and let live. Try to keep them out of the precious things. And Serena also asks, are the leaves edible?
Yes. Actually, they're more nutritious than the tubers.
There you go, Serena. Throw the tubers away and eat the leaves. What would you do them in a spinach kind of thing? Boil them up,
same thing.
A bit of butter, a bit of garlic.
Yeah,
you know,
stir
usual.
fry. Put them into soups. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
We're so fortunate here. We have 7 or 8 different greens that we can use all year round.
Yeah.
So you're never short of greens.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing to know. And you were telling me, I just want to show you my sweet potato patch, which is more than just a sweet potato patch. You can see I've got pumpkin leaves in there. There's actually tomatoes in there as well, with lots of tomatoes in there. And I must put a shout out to Robin, thanking her for the tomato plants. They're all growing magnificently. They're all in here doing a great job, and I've got plenty of leaves off this sweet potato. But I just want to show you that my soil's not the best. It really is.
Heavy clay.
It is, and I put a lot of organic material on top of that, and it's just all disappeared.
Yes.
And what can you tell me about, well, this photo here particularly, what can you tell me?
Yes, you could see it's clay because it's grey. But plants will still grow in it. But most of the tubers will probably sit on top of the ground because they like soft soil. They like a nice sandy soil, so they can push into it. But they'll still grow, and looks like it might be lacking in some nutrients. But you've got great diversity in there, so that helps.
It does help, and it is a very young garden bed, made out of the raw materials of the clay from the ground, as well as the raw materials of just putting wood chips on top of it.
Yeah.
And I am absolutely amazed that I filled up that garden bed half with clay, half with wood chips on top of, well, overflowing with wood chips on top of it, and the wood chips have disappeared. Like in the tropics, organic material just melts away
Yes, I know.
before your eyes. It
Yes.
really is amazing, and that's what's happened in this garden bed, as all these plants have said, thank you very much for that, taken it all out of there. How would I apply, I've got leaves everywhere there, as you saw in the previous shot. We'll go back to that. How do you apply a compost or organic material? Do you just do it hand by hand, putting it under the leaves onto it?
Well, usually I do it before you plant. I put a barrel load of compost down, and then plant the sweet potatoes, because you shouldn't be growing them in the same spot year after year. The beetles will find it, and they'll dig holes into them, and they actually take nutrients out of the soil. So you need to shift them every couple of years at least. And so every bed gets compost and a little manure, and that's the best way to go. And you're getting your diversity by planting a different crop in every year. I mean, where we dug up, that's been in there 2 years, and you can see the rats are finding it. So I need to change it, but I've run out of space. So.
Right. So again, it's not. It deals with the soil health, but it also deals with the rats that put it in a different place. Keep them thinking and trying to.
Yeah, they'll know. They'll remember they found them last time.
Yeah.
Like the pawpaws, they know where the pawpaws are and the bananas are.
Yeah, so it really pays to keep things moving around.
Yes, definitely. And adding compost and mulching.
Yes, in the wet tropics, you've just got to keep adding the compost.
Yes.
It does flow through very quickly.
But I'd say that the wood chips are just magical, because even the worms love them. I mean, you wouldn't think that worms would like wood chips, but they do.
Oh, I know they do. In my front yard, I put about a foot or more of wood chips down.
Yep.
And dug a hole in it to plant something recently, and found worms.
It's all worms in it.
The nice big earthworms, which is fantastic to see.
Yes,
that,
yes.
They're loving the space, and when you're throwing down that much wood chips, it's a compost heap in itself, because it's thick enough.
It actually heats up.
Yes. To tell you the truth, I killed an avocado tree because
it was
the
too hot.
roots heated up too much.
Yes.
I thought I put enough room around it,
Yeah.
gave it enough hole, didn't.
No.
You live and learn.
Yeah, a lot of trees don't have deep roots. They have feeder roots, which are not very far underneath the topsoil.
Yeah, so this is what happens when you give them changing conditions, that of applying a lot of mulch all at once, that it can be a shock to them, especially when that mulch is composting and creating that heat. But you must apply the compost. You must keep applying that organic material.
Oh yes, and mulch. Stops the weeds too, and breaks down, and the worms eat it, and fantastic.
Now, we had another couple of questions through the month. I don't have the photos, but we had the question about the eucalyptus trees.
Yeah, Claire emailed me and said that one of her eucalyptus trees was dying, and she'd put horse manure around it and asked whether that would be all right. It may be too much nitrogen for a eucalyptus tree, which you can imagine they don't get very much fertiliser at all. And sometimes horse manure's got insecticides in it. If I don't know, it's insecticides. When they actually drench a horse for worms, it comes through into the manure, and it could be partly that's the problem. And
I thought just manure itself, the way I understand it, eucalyptus is, they're used to dry, arid,
and very little
poor
fertiliser.
soils.
Yes.
It would be a bit too much for them.
I think so. And her other question was, can she use fresh horse manure in the garden? Well, once again, yes, you can if you're sure that the horse hasn't been drenched with chemicals. So usually, if you don't know, you store it for about a month, and then it dissipates over that time. You can use it in the garden.
But wouldn't any manure, wouldn't you recommend to put a lot of, say, wood chips, cardboard, leaves, any brown compost material with it?
Yes.
Because the brown compost material has the carbon in it. That
so it's horse manure. It's got a lot of both.
Well, yes, because horses don't digest a lot,
that's
so
right.
there's a lot of fibre and a lot of grass still in there.
Yeah. I've used straight fresh horse manure that I was sure didn't have drench in it, and it doesn't do any harm at all. But if you're not sure, store it.
Sure.
Yep.
And if you want to get on and ask any questions to Carol or myself, do chat to us. We've got a few people asking. And the question we had during the month.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, the tomatoes. A lot of people asking about the mildew on it.
It's actually bacterial wilt. And I mean, tomatoes are susceptible to 2 or 3 different wilts, but bacterial wilt is only in tropical soils, and it's dynamite. The plant grows beautifully and then starts to set fruit, and then overnight it'll wilt, and eventually it will die. And that's bacterial wilt. And there's not a lot you can do about it. They have bred one tomato called Scorpio that's supposed to be a bit resistant to it, but I have a problem here on this soil because I've been here 30 years and I've grown lots of tomatoes, and now it's in the soil and it's also in the water in the tropics. So if you want to grow tomatoes and you've got tropical wilt in your soil, you need to grow them in a pot and with no contact to soil. And then cross your fingers it's not in the water.
But we've talked about the marvellous thing about growing things in pots anyway, of being able to move them around.
Oh, yes.
And especially if you don't own the land that you're living on, pots are fantastic. But they're fantastic for everyone. And again, in the wet tropics, pots are fantastic. But you know how much water they're getting. You know they're not getting a drenching as well. So really, this time of the year, the best is to grow like a cherry tomato, small, in a pot. I understand the cherry tomatoes always do better in the tropics.
Yes, the others don't, because when November comes and it's hot and humid, tomatoes don't set fruit. They flower, but no fruit sets on them. It's just the plant goes into, hey, I don't want to do this. So the cherry tomatoes seem to handle that better, but the big ones, you won't get fruit setting.
Sure. Well, as I said, Robin gave me a whole lot of tomatoes back in it was April when we couldn't have
The expo.
the expo, and so we sold all the plants off. I bought a whole lot from Robin, and they've all done really well. I've got Romas, I've got Tommy tomatoes, which are really big ones, which have done really well as well. But one that I grew in a pot upstairs, which didn't get enough water at one stage, but now it has a kind of fungus on the stem, little white, what look like oyster mushrooms, just tiny miniature little things. But I see that now that it's getting water, it's still growing up the top here. They're all there happily, fungally on the stem. But up the top, it's starting to go, I'm alive again, I'm going to keep going.
Well, tomato is a vine.
Yeah.
It's especially the indeterminate ones. They just keep going. You know, you've seen them in those where they hydroponic ones. They can be 10 metres long or more. So yes, if it's got a problem down low, it'll grow out of it and grow new shoots. Keep going.
Yeah.
But there is the different variety. They're indeterminate. The determinate ones are like Roma, which will grow to a metre and fruit heavily, and then they're finished.
And I've got some Roma going, and they are fruiting heavily, so I know that they will be finished. Okay, good to know there. Leonie has said when we're talking about animal manure, that also depends on the grass that they're eating. If it has glyphosate in it, which is Roundup, then putting that manure on plants, the Roundup could still be there.
Yes.
Very likely, and that could be a problem as well.
And it's not only Roundup, there's other things as well. So, yeah, you need to know where it comes from and what's been done to it. And it's becoming more of a problem everywhere, even in Britain. I know Organic Gardener there, he's talking about it too. So, need to be more aware.
Yes, and there's more and more stories about Roundup, and eventually it's going to be phased out. We know it is. The writing's on the wall that eventually could be 2100, you know.
Yeah,
so,
they haven't got a good replacement. That's what's going to stop it from happening.
Yeah. Well, it's 2020, so anything could happen this year that changes the whole scene. So let's stand by there. Yeah, keep your questions coming. But we will talk about what's coming up at our next meeting. I just want to let you know that our next meeting will be on the 15th of September. Again, just like this one, 6:30 online. And the theme is going to be small victories. Now, what this is all about is what small victories have you had at home during this COVID time, or in general over the last year? We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what small victories you have. Because it is the small victories that are the important ones, because permaculture is all about small, slow steps.
Encourages to keep going.
It does. It encourages you to keep going. That's very well put. So I've just put a little promo here for you on what I want.
Please join us for next month, and we will be discussing small victories, like this eggplant.
Like learning to grow tomatoes.
growing shallots from kitchen scraps. Like learning to make omelettes that don't stick to the pan. When you add all the small victories together, that's how we get the big victories. So please contribute a video or photos and stories to show us the small victories in your kitchen or garden.
So there you go. Small victories. The small victories add up to make the big victories. So we would love to hear what victories you've had. If it's in the kitchen, like you saw there, making an omelette that doesn't stick in the pan, that is still my favourite. Every time I slide it out now, and it works every time now, I get that satisfaction of I've learned something. So, yeah, this year growing the tomatoes, the eggplant, it's been a great year for me with those small victories. Can you think of any that you've had lately?
Oh, red capsicum.
Yeah, what have you done with red capsicum?
Oh, I've grown them and eaten them, yes, and lots of them. So, I don't know, I've had a trouble growing capsicum, especially to the red stage, because something comes along and, yeah, annihilates them before then.
Do you know what worked this time?
Compost,
Yeah.
animal manure. They're really heavy feeders, so.
Right. So keep it up to them.
Tomatoes are heavy feeders, and yeah, eggplant too. So they're all that Solanaceae grow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that explains why all my organic material in my garden bed's disappeared. But I've got to put more on. So yes, do get your suggestions in as well of what small victories you've had in your garden. If you can do a video just like the one I did, or if you can send us photos with a little backstory, that would be fantastic. If you feel like you're not tech savvy enough to do any of that, drop me a line, put a message out here, send me an email at info@permaculturecairns.org.au, and I'll come around and help you make a little video and show Cairns why you're proud of what you've done in your garden or your kitchen, what helps bring the joy out in your life of learning new skills that you go, man, I wish I knew that earlier. So do let me know. Leonie's also suggested with the manure is hot compost at all the manure you collect, which makes a lot of sense to really make a nice good compost. Manure's great.
They say that there's an E. coli danger if you don't hot compost it. So yeah, you need to get that compost hot to be sure you haven't got E. coli in it.
So yes, thank you everyone for all your comments today. Nice to hear that our sound has been coming through, that we've had no echoes or
We're learning.
You can hear us, so it's nice to get it all happening. But as we go further and further into this live streaming, we're getting better and better. So thanks again for your comments and feedback on that. That is all we have for tonight's live stream, and we do thank you for tuning in. You can keep the conversation going online. I'll be online for a bit longer if you do want to chat. Would love to hear from you. But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next month, September the 15th, and please do contribute the more people that contribute, the better it is always. Thank you.
Bye.